Welcome to Beyond the Press Release, a production of Agora column in which we take the time to speak with small cap executives and CEOs about recent important press releases and developments in their company. With us today, I'm ecstatic to have Bernard Tourillon. He's chairman and CEO of Uragold. The company trades on the stock symbol UBR on the TSX Venture Exchange. Now, Uragold has put out some great press releases all year long. Go back and take a look at them. Don't take my word for it. But they just put out what I think is potentially their best press release, not of the year, but ever. I'm going to give you the headline. Partnership with Pyrogenesis puts Uragold in a position to turn Quartz projects into the highest purity, lowest cost supplier to the solar industry. Now that's big news. That sounds like a lot, and that's what we're here to talk about with Bernard. Bernard, welcome to the show.
Thank you, George.
All right, so before I get into the detailed questions, this press release sounds really big. I mean, almost too big to be true because you're using terms such as quantum leap, highest purity, lowest cost supplier. Give us a layman's summary of what you've announced today.
Well, actually, what you describe is it's even bigger than what anybody can imagine.
Wow.
Pyrogenesis developed a process, and they applied for the patent for it, to transform our quartz into the highest purity base material required to make solar panel. All right, it's a one-shot, one-step transformation. It's a much more environmentally friendly present system. So already there, it's a winner. But in the cost structure, in the process structure, it basically allows a company like Uragold to become a vertically integrated producer of the highest grade material in one shot. It's completely a game changer. There's been no new change technology or leap in the process to make polysilicon and silicon metal. It's always been incremental increase from metallurgic grade silicon metal produced by silicon metal manufacturer. We're talking taking our quartz directly and turning it into the raw product for solar panel.
And for those who don't know out there, Uragold claims that you've got the highest purity quartz projects in Quebec, if not the country.
Yeah, but George, this goes even further than that, okay? The process is so revolutionary that we could probably even take material that is even a bit lesser grade, and we can remove those imperfections and make the same material. That's how revolutionary it is. It will completely change the dynamics of the way silicon metal, metallurgic grade, solar grade silicon metal, and polysilicon is made. That's how big the change is. And it's Pyrogenesis has applied a patent, and we're lucky. We have the worldwide exclusive right to that technology. Okay? So basically, nobody else but us and Pyrogenesis can develop this technology.
So let's talk about end product. So what is the end product that you're hoping to produce here, and then what are your plans to commercialize it?
Okay. The end products we are looking to produce will be anything from silicon metal, which is a 2.2 million a year ton market, to highest grade solar grade silicon metal to be used for photovoltaic materials. Okay. The advantage of what we can produce is we'll have a lot of flexibility in what we produce, but we will be attacking first the highest grade material because that's the one that sells at the highest price out there, and that's where we're going to have the greatest competitive advantage because our competitors in our sector, in that industry, are stuck in a range where they can't go below $10,000 a ton to make the stuff. If it goes below that, they lose cash money on it. Right now, they have a cash cost to make it between $10,000 to $13,000. Those are the best in the business. All right.
The press release says that after some testing, you're going to come out with your own cash costs.
Yeah, we'll come up with stronger numbers in the back of the envelopes that we have right now, but it's very easy to envision. It will not cost us more to make the ultra high-end material that it costs right now a traditional silicon metal manufacturer to make his product. That's because we're just doing it in one step.
So you're producing a Mercedes at Hyundai prices at the end of the day.
Yes. Yes, and we're doing it in one shot, and it's very environmentally friendly. That is what's so amazing is every producer of polysilicon, everybody in this business, okay, is looking for the holy grail, how to turn metallurgic grade silicon metal into the ultra pure material. All right. But they're starting from a starting cost where they have to buy the silicon metal at $2,750 a ton. I'm starting from mining my quartz, and I end up finishing it. So look at it this way: we're going to have a much better margin into it.
This is a big market. In the press release, you talked about it's a multi-billion-dollar market that's going to grow at a pretty healthy rate for the foreseeable future, which isn't a surprise. But let me play devil advocate here. It's a big market, and I presume that big market has big competition. So is price a competitive advantage, or is it quality, or both that are going to let you penetrate the solar industry? Because you do talk about disruptive pricing inside this press release.
Well, it's actually going to be both. Because at the end, it is whoever is the cheapest to produce a high-grade material wins. That's as simple as that. And the demand for this product, because it's used for solar panel, okay, is it's basically been mentioned he could grow by double to triple to what it is right now. Okay, the reason why this material is so much in a flux is because solar panel have 15 years. You know, there was a big wave a few years ago when everybody entered a solar panel.
Right.
And the biggest fork on the road for the development was the cost of polysilicon or solar grade material to make the photovoltaic material. And all the plants that were built to meet the demand, okay, were built in a time when prices for polysilicon were seen to go up to maybe $20,000 to $100,000 a ton. Prices has gone down now, and it's trading in a range between the lower part of the range, $13,000 a ton, to the high range, $18,000 a ton. There's a worldwide capacity of about 300,000 ton to meet presently a 225,000 ton demand. But that that capacity is sort of unelastic. If prices move toward $20,000 a ton, capacity comes online. As prices move below $14,000 a ton, capacity goes offline, right? For me, I don't need those prices. I'm looking at basically doing what the silicon manufacturers do, and I just purify it. Well, not me, but thanks to the technology that we get from pyrogenesis. So it's that one-step process, one operation. We don't have to heat twice the material. It's simple, done. I'll just give you an idea right now. To try to reduce the cost of making polysilicon, a company in Iceland is investing up to $1 billion to build a 16,000 ton a year plant. Our present back of the envelope unscientific calculation tell us that we should be able to build the same size plant for a 20th of their cost.
$50 million. Okay.
Yeah, it's about ballpark figure, plus or minus. But you know, I'm based.
I saw 95 reduction in capital in capex.
In capex.
Wow.
Okay. It's the size of a capex that a junior corporation like Uragold can put forward into it. Okay. I don't need a $300 million to build a plant. That's not it. The technology basically allows for my plant to be built in an industrial park.
And that's not surprising because as technology moves along, we've seen that happen to everything, right?
Yeah.
You know, if you try to buy servers 15 years ago, each server could cost you $15,000. Today, it costs you $500. So it's only natural that this progression is taking place. It's just unbelievable that you're the company that looks like is going to introduce it along with pyrogenesis. Let me ask you a question. You're conducting, I'm going to read here, you're conducting metallurgical testing and validation by Q1 or so of 2016. Does that mean the technology hasn't been proven yet?
The formal application of the technology hasn't been fully tested. But what has been fully tested is, and the scientific literature is very, very clear on this, you can take quartz, use plasma process to make silicon metal, metallurgic grade, okay? You can then use another plasma process to take that same silicon metal, it's metallurgic grade, and purify it to at least upgraded metallurgic grade, what we call solar grade silicon panel, which is 6N and above. What is so, how can I say this, simple yet genius of what pyrogenesis is doing is that we're just combining those two operations. So that's one of the reasons why we've been very discreet about our work with pyrogenesis on that. So until they've announced, and then they've announced that yesterday, they filed their patent, we didn't want to talk too much about what we were doing because it's such a disruptive technology. Now we know, Pyro has the patent, we have the worldwide exclusivity right, so anybody else that wants to use it, they'll go talk to Pyro, and Pyro tells them go talk to Uragold. So
does the literature give you in pyrogenesis a high degree of confidence that it's just a case of applying what's already been proven on a bigger scale and you got it?
Yeah. It's going to be demonstrating. The fun thing about what we're doing is we're building the first reactor right now. It's going to be a laboratory scale reactor, but we're building the first scale reactor right now. As soon as the reactor is operational, we'll be able to make samples for end user product on a regular basis. Right? So it'll allow us to prepare for the next step, which is going to be building a 2,000 ton a year solar grade silicon metal plant. But 2,000 ton, if we get $15,000 a ton, that's still $30 million of revenue a year. So that's the mindset. I'm not as focused as other juniors on the size of my deposit. I know I have enough to get myself moving forward, but the cost advantage of my mining isn't that big. What the advantage it gives me is I have total control from start to finish of my product.
Yeah, because about saying the goal of most TSX Venture juniors is to find a resource, extract it, and try and make that spread between the cost of getting it out of the ground and capital costs and selling to the old market. So as of today, how are you different from the typical TSX Venture resource company?
Well, actually, now we're becoming more a technology-driven application of technologies in the quartz sector as opposed to a resource company. We just happen to be a technology company with a high-tech implementation that's going to be a supplier to that material that happens to own the mineral right that's going to be able to use it. So we'll be sending to ourselves the old end product. What happens in industrial mineral, you're always stuck dependent on who your buyer is, and your buyer's only dream is to figure a way to get his material cheaper so he can make more money at the end. So that's why we never really bothered trying to figure out if we could get, if we had 1 million ton, 2 million. It really doesn't change anything on our map.
Right.
At this moment, what's going to change?
You're going up the price
I'm going
scale.
upstream.
You're going up the value scale into value-added product. You're not just taking stuff out of the ground hoping to sell at a profit.
I'll just give you an example. It's a totally different scale. What differentiates us from other junior explorations, a bit like Alcoa. Okay, Alcoa announced yesterday they're splitting up their traditional mainline making aluminum and their high-grade, high-margin product. All right, this is where I'm going. And our technology basically is the equivalent of the leap over from basically, those lamps that you had in the old computers,
right,
to the silicon chip. That's about as big as a leap as it is. Doesn't mean the other system doesn't work. Doesn't mean it's not very, very good. It's just that's how big the leap is. There's so many structural advantage to this. We're not related to one project. Somebody tells you, well, it's going to take you 3 years to get the BAP to get your mine operational. That's an example given. I'm giving you. So what? I can buy my material and turn into it. I'm not limited to my resources, but having my resources gives me a flexibility that nobody has. So
it gives control right off the bat. It gives that control that you have. You control the supply, and I'm assuming once you get going, at that point, you'll have years later because you got enough right now, but you'll have your pick of other quartz companies and quartz projects that want to sell you the product.
Yes, and that's one of the main reasons why we spent a lot of time making sure we could get the worldwide exclusivity on this. Because the truth of the matter is, and this is why we announced it on, we'll be paying a nice royalty to pyrogenesis. It's going to be a win-win deal for pyrogenesis. We'll be buying from them the equipment, we'll be working with them the development, and they will get rewarded for everything we sell into it. So it'll be a win-win, continuous cash-generating machine, but it gives us the advantage of being able to say, this process, we're the only one in the world Okay, it's not limited to North America; it's worldwide. So, and there are some other advantages that we'll know more as it moves forward. But I'll just give you an example. Right now, just to transform, and I know it's pretty boring scientifically, but it's one of those things that's very exciting for me, is it takes about 115,000 megawatts per hour per ton to make one ton of polysilicon. We're looking at a much lower numbers than that with our process.
Right. So let's leave it there. There's going to be a lot to talk about in the coming weeks and months. It's a fantastic overview. People have to review the press release a few times, give you calls to discuss it, go meet with everybody to discuss it. But it sounds like you along with PyroGenesis have potentially got a tiger by the tail. I want to thank for this first of many press releases as you move forward, and first of many interviews as you move forward with this. And congratulations to you, your team, PyroGenesis, on this big first step, and looking forward to following this potentially big winning story of the TSX Venture Exchange.
Yeah, thanks.
You've been watching Bernard Tourillon. He's chairman and CEO of Uragold. The company trades on the stock symbol UBR on the TSX Venture Exchange. You can find more information about them on the web or get to Agoracom, where you can watch all previous interviews, talk with other shareholders, and get the answers you need to any questions you might have. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time.